y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite tropes, which is second chance romance. So if you're like me, you love a good second chance romance. You love that angst, that banter. We've got history, we've got past, we've loved each other the entire time, but we just couldn't be together for one reason or another, and we're forced to be in each other's orbits. And from that, we realize that we are meant to be together. That being said, I've got 10 romances to talk to you all about today that just give those vibes to me. The first being my most recent read, which is Lauren Asher's The Final Offer. This is a third in the Dreamland Billionaire series, the relationship between Lana and Cal. Now, this has a meddlesome grandfather that is pushing them back into each other's lives to sell this home. Alana doesn't want to sell it, but Cal does, and he needs to do so for his will. So if you have read the Dreamland Billionaire series, you know that each one of the brothers in this series has something that is looming over their head that their grandfather is asking them to do in their last will and testament. Cal's request is more challenging to him than anything he's ever faced in the past, especially given his challenge with addiction. And he is addicted to Alana as well. Alana is the girl of his dreams, one of his first loves that he's never been able to get over. Putting him back in Alana's orbit are triggering a lot of things from his past, but Alana has always wanted to help him through it and always wanted to be by his side. But now she is kind of leery of him coming back in town and him deciding that he wants to sell this home after he's been away for 6 years. She's trying to protect her heart as well as someone very dear and special to her. If you are looking for something that is just magical, that centers around a Disney theme, that as the childhood friends to lovers, we've never been able to get over one another, this is probably the one. Y'all know I love J.L. Seegers and she can do no wrong. But baby, when she brought out Revive Me Part 3, The Apology, I knew I had to bow down. Like, I love J.L. Seegers, and please know that this is the third in a trilogy, so you do need to read it in order. And honestly, the New Haven series, I would tell you to start with Restore Me, because Chris and Mallory's story isn't just about them. It does center Dominic and Sloan, which are the characters from Restore Me, which is the first in this series. So if you are going to go into J.L. Seeger's New Haven series, I'm going to tell you to start from the beginning, and you will not be disappointed. This just continues to build and build and build into a world in which you want to be in. Chris and Mallory have been through hell and back more times than I can count, especially given all of the obstacles that have been in their past. But one of the things I can truly tell you is they are meant to be. This second chance romance is one that they have to work for, as well as you as the reader have to work for. But you are so grateful to be able to experience the love between each other and the journey that they go through, and how truly at the end they are unbeatable together and they can take on anything that the world or Chris's father has to throw at them, honestly. So if you know, you know. This one here is for those who are looking for that heartbreak that second chance romance really does offer. It packs that punch, but it also soothes you, gives you that calming balm over your heart to say it's going to all be better between the characters, because truly they are meant to withstand whatever. Do not jump into The Apology without reading The Affair and without reading The Act. It is important that you get all of the context clues, because it all comes to a culminating end that is masterfully done. This centers a wedding. And so the next thing I have to give you is a second chance romance that is all about weddings. And that is going to be Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This one centers a wedding planner and a florist, and they have not worked with each other for years. They used to work with each other really well. They fell in love with one another until something happened that kind of just broke them apart. This is their first time being able to work with one or another again, and they're not really sure how to navigate this high profile client in the same space, because while they're trying to manage their emotion, everything centering weddings deals with emotion and with love and with desire. That is the business that they are in, and they can't express those emotions at the time that they're feeling them, because the person that broke their heart is standing right across from them. Them helping others find their way to love helps them get back to where they need to be with one another. And when I tell you, this is funny to boot. So if you're looking for something that is not as serious as Revive Me, you're looking for something a little bit lighthearted that has a comedic aspect, I'm going to tell you, Julie Soto's Forget Me Not is probably the one you want to pick up. It is a damn good time. Speaking of something that is also hilarious, you all know that I love Juliet Cross and her Stay a Spell series, Witches Get Stitches. You can already tell by the title, it is going to be a funny book. Now, this centers a witch and a werewolf. So if you are looking for second chance romance for Halloween or October, the spooky season, I'm going to tell you to pick this one up right here. This is the third in the series. It is a 6-book series, but you don't necessarily have to read book 1 and book 2 to appreciate Witches Get Stitches, because this centers Violet and Nico. They had a kind of rendezvous way back in the past and they went their separate ways. Violet never thought she was going to see Nico again until he comes into town to visit his cousin and he sees the woman that has had his heart this entire time from this one night stand, an occurrence. And he's been like, this is my person. This is my mate. I just never knew where to find her. He stumbles across Violet, and again, very grumpy sunshine, but Violet is the grump in this situation. She has never needed a man. She has never needed to be claimed. She is her own woman, and she thought, I'm never going to see Nico again. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to get this out of my system. He comes back into her orbit and he is obsessed. Now, Nico is a werewolf, so he's giving big puppy dog energy, follow her around. He is smitten with her and she's like, God, just give me a break. And he is not letting up. But there is something bigger at play, and you get to see that Violet is a woman who is going to do what is right and she is going to take chances. But the one thing she's not willing to do is take a chance on her heart with love, and Nico does not let up. He's like, you are mine, and whatever depths of the world you want to travel, I'm going to travel with you. And I absolutely love and adore getting to see them realize that they are meant to be, and they can be whole, but they can be whole together. Now, as I stated, this one is a witch and a werewolf. This is second chance romance. And I'm going to tell you, if you're still in this vibe after reading Witches Get Stitches and you're like, this isn't enough, give me more, I'm going to tell you to pick up Not the Witchy Wed by April Asher. Actually, these two have the same female main character name. So in Not the Witchy Wed, you've got Violet, who is supposed to be the leader of her coven. Now, she is the oldest of 3 sisters. She is supposed to be the one that is taking over her coven, but her powers are dormant. And she doesn't know why. So she is very much living a mundane life, doing what she wants to do in the community, surrounded by other witches and not feeling enough. And she's always had a missing piece. Now, unbeknownst to her, the missing piece is the love of her life, her fated mate, Lincoln. Lincoln is a werewolf that she has tried to stay away from this entire time. She's like, dude, you're not getting the picture. We're never going to be together. I don't know why you won't leave me alone. But now that they're all grown up, Lincoln is like, I know you're my mate. I know we are supposed to be together. I honestly don't know what happened. There was a miscommunication in their past, and it stemmed from some meddling people that just knew what they could be and the power that they could have together. It's not until they decide to go into this fake entanglement or this fake relationship that real feelings start to spark up again. Now, if that may not be your vibe, that's okay. It is still fall, so it is football season, and one football romance that I'm going to tell you that has second chance vibe is going to be Fumbled by Alexa Martin. This is so good. This is my favorite in the series. Know that there are 4 football romances in here, but this is the romance between TK and Poppy. Now, TK has always loved Poppy, but he never knew what happened. She just disappeared one day. And he is out celebrating with some of his fellow football players. They go to an adult club, and who does he see there? None other but the former love of his life, Poppy. Now, Poppy is working there, and TK gets a little bit of possessive, like, hey, Where have you been? Why are you working in this club? Why won't you talk to me? I tried and tried and tried to find you, and you didn't want to be found. Now, unbeknownst to him, Poppy actually has a child, and TK never knew that he was the father. So if you are a little bit leery of the secret baby trope, there is a reason behind it all. And if you are interested, if that trope does not bother you, I would highly tell you to pick up this. Not only does it talk about them as a relationship standpoint, it also talks about some interesting things that rarely get talked about in the sports romance community, which talks about CTE, right, in football players. So we glorify the sport, but we also want to talk about what impact it plays with the football players and how it impacts their family. If you are looking for a second chance romance that follows football, that has some deeper topics that are at play, while also having a good friend group, I'm going to tell you Fumbled is the one for you. This next one is a second chance romance that is very, very touching to me, but it also has very dark vibes. It is heavy content. Some may even say it has a little bit of toxic energy in it, which I can totally understand, but to me, it was my vibe. And that's going to be Tia Williams' 7 Days in June. Now, this is the romance between Eva and Chase. Back in high school, they had 7 days together. In that 7 days, they have a whirlwind romance that really centers a lot of pain and trauma, not necessarily between the two of each other, but they are experiencing so many things that you never think of from a high school standpoint. So please be mindful. This does have heavy drug addiction in it. There is some toxic relationships that are at play here. Now that they're both adults, it is at Second Chance Counter. They are both writers and they're both at this one convention. And this entire time they've been writing love letters to each other through their books. And the world does not know this, but they know that they have been kind of writing therapeutically and putting their work into the void, not knowing that the other has been reading that and writing back to them. And this is a romance that deals with so many heavy topics, but the love that's between the two continues to grow throughout the course of time. And you get to see them in various different dynamics, understanding how their relationship was once before and what it is now, and that they never got a chance to be more than those 7 days. So I'm going to tell you, if you are okay with reading heavier, deeper romance that centers second chance, I'm going to tell you 7 Days in June is going to be the one to pick it up. Now, another all-consumable read for me is going to be none other than Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go. If you know me, you know how much I love Kennedy Ryan. And this second chance romance here is really what put Kennedy Ryan on the map for me. This is the romance between Yasmin and Josiah. They are now divorced, living their lives apart from one another because there is this large looming tragedy that happened during their marriage that they couldn't get over, and that they really needed to focus on themselves instead of the relationship that they were in. But truly, they've always loved each other. It just was that they could not give love to themselves as well as their relationship, and so that they needed to be apart. Now, in this, they do have kids, and so that they're still in each other's lives because they are trying to be good parents, and they're trying to make sure that what they have going on and what happened in their relationship doesn't impact their kid. And in this, they really start to see that while they thought they were doing the best for their children in terms of being apart, that really shows up in different ways in their family and how their relationship and their dynamics have played a part into their child's lives. And so they really are placed into a situation where they're like, okay, we are partners in business. We were partners in marriage. Let's see if we can work this out. And in that, they start working towards being back with one another and overcoming some of the conversations that they never had. This second chance romance really will break you down before building you back up. But when you are built back up, you are higher than ever because you know that these two deserve to be in love with one another and to be together. Now, these last two that I've got for you today are unconventional. All of these other books, these other 8 were romances that true definition of second chance. They were in a relationship before, for whatever reason they broke up, and now they're no longer together. These last 2 are unconventional second chance romances because this is their second chance being given to them to see, hey, the universe is telling you all, if you all don't get it together this time and decide to be in a relationship, I can't help you. The first one is going to be Danielle Allen's Continuum. This is between Aisha and Kwame. They were in college. Aisha has always had a crush on Kwame, and she never could build up enough courage in herself to be able to tell him. Plus, he was in a relationship at the time, so she just loved him from afar. They grew up, went apart their separate ways. Now, Aisha had a best friend that passed away, and her best friend has kind of been, in her mind, showing up different places. And she's like, okay, this must be a ghost that I need to chase. And this ghost per se leads her back to Kwame one night. And Kwame is like, oh my gosh, Aisha, I have been talking about you. I've always had some sort of interest in you. I just never was the right time. I never thought you were interested, so on and so forth. And so this is about them spending a weekend together, really getting to know each other again and determining whether or not their interest still aligns and whether or not they can be together because they live in two different cities. Lastly, very similar, this is a friend romance where both of them were best friends at the time and one left the other in a small town. And this is them coming back into each other's orbit and giving their friendship a chance to be more. And that is going to be The Girl with the Stars in Her Eyes by Zio Axelrod. This story centers Tony and Sebastian, or better known as Seb. Tony is a musician and she has been called to work on a project, and who comes after her to be able to kind of steal her position is Seb. Now, Seb and her were best friends back when they were children. They lived in a small town that they really wanted to escape and get out of. Now, Seb was a little bit older than Tony, and he actually thought she would be fine if he left and went first to explore the world, and he was going to come back and get Tony, but he never did. And in this, he's been kind of regretting his decision this entire time, not necessarily knowing where Tony's been, what she's been up to, but he feels like this is his second attempt, and he wants to repay her by putting her on. He is a manager for an all-girl group known as the Lilies, and he's like, I know she's a fantastic musician. I know she is very talented. I know that she could be what we need to make this girl group pop and be able to make it far. And so he's like, I'm going to put my feelings aside. I really do want to tell her I love her and I want to be with her. But I think what she needs more from me at this moment is for me to be her cheerleader and to support her career. They go on the road, they start to work together, and they get a second chance at determining, can I be your person? Can I be the love of your life because you are the love of mine? And this, again, is unconventional in the fact that they were never in a relationship, but they have always held each other's heart. And this is the universe telling them, hey, this is your time. Make it happen. So if you find that you are interested in a second chance romance, please note that there is some in here for everyone. Again, I've stated some paranormal romance, some friends to lovers, some sports romance, you name it. There is probably something in here for you. So without further ado, I am going to ask you all to leave me any type of music emoji. So if you see a drum kit, if you see a guitar, if you see a microphone, leave me some sort of music emoji, or tell me your favorite second chance romance in the comments below, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.